Hi, everybody. I don't know if you can see me or not. Looks like it's working okay. Yeah, my name is Michael Fisk with Tri-State Motor Transit. Today is August 6th. I cannot believe it's August already. Thursday, August 6th. Yeah, same messages as we always start out with. If you're driving, please make sure you turn this off, and it will be recorded. And yeah, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook as well. So yeah, please wait. In the meantime, or for those that are stationary and able to watch this live, thank you and welcome to everybody. Feel free to send in any messages or any questions that you have, and happy to review it. There or discuss really anything that you guys want. While we're getting people logged in, I'll just say hi to a few people, that I see on here. Daniel Ginger, David Ransom, sunny California. Well, it's sunny Arizona too, 110 degrees out. Gene Bilton, hi. Ray Parker, what's going on? Dan Mangelson, Miguel Escalante, Christine, and Johnny, Wilson. Speaking of Miguel Escalante and sunny California, if you are an established team based out of Southern California, we have an opportunity for a semi-dedicated, lanes, or basically it's going to be a kind of intro California, type of thing. So if you have your DoD clearance and a part of an established team, and based out of Southern California, let me know if you'd be interested in something that's somewhat dedicated, or type of thing. I'll explain in more detail, but again, it's for teams with clearance that's based out of Southern California only, please. I guess you don't have to be Southern California, but in California. Yeah, anyway, let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. So, anyway, the Bruffs are on, and Bill Wyland's on. So, yeah, welcome everybody. We'll go and get started here. Um, I mean, not a whole lot of things, cover a couple of things. One, we want to let you know this Facebook Live is going to be moving to Friday afternoons, 1 o'clock Joplin time. So starting next week, the Tri-State Live on Facebook will be on Friday afternoons at 1 o'clock. Joplin time. There's a couple of reasons for it. One, I mean, Thursday's still a little awkward time. Fridays, tends to be better times for our drivers. And then, most of you know Riley, who, is kind of running or controlling the Facebook Lives. Her grad school, she's back in grad school, and classes start up again for her next week. So we'll be moving these Facebook Lives to Fridays at 1 o'clock starting next week. FYI. Okay. The second thing I want to share with you here is the Q2 driver of the quarter is Catherine Sigismondi. She's actually on the Drom fleet, on the ATCO Drom fleet, but they're included into the driver of the year and driver of the quarter, qualifications that we have. So congratulations, Catherine. She started with us, I think, about 2.5, 3 years ago, and has just done a tremendous job. With she and with Hardin Martin. So congratulations, Catherine. If you have questions about the driver of the quarter, it's not a contest. I mean, it's not something that you can necessarily win. We have a lot of great drivers, and we just want to take the opportunity to recognize driver each quarter and driver of the year. There are certain qualifications to be considered, including safety and service, type things. But essentially, if you do your job, you do your job well, you're qualified. But like I said, it's not a competition. I mean, we have 100 driver at a time, that are under consideration. But get with me or get with JD. JD's the one that chairs the committee. That makes the determination, for driver of the quarter. Q1, I believe, was Mark Sane, one of our teams, based out of Utah. So congratulations again, Catherine, on that. Okay. Once again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but masks, we have to wear them. Certain customers, certain locations, some states, counties. I mean, it's Phoenix, Maricopa County is a mask mandated state. If the customer requires it, we have to comply. We've gotten some questions, this week. Well, what if I have a health concern, that won't allow me to wear a mask? Um, a couple of things. I mean, I think there's a few things that is misunderstood. I mean, about ADA and so forth. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a HR expert. And so this certainly is not advice or counsel, type of thing. But the customers, they get to decide who they let on their facilities and who they don't. Perhaps it would help if you carried a doctor's note, saying why you cannot wear a mask. But the customer is not required, to let you on. And I know several people, shared that, they have asthma concerns. It makes it difficult for breathing, and so forth. Again, I'm not an HR, expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a um, lawyer, for sure. But I'd say this, if you have asthma, you certainly do not want to get, the COVID-19. I mean, that's what it does. Is one of the big side effects is attacks the respiratory system. So masks, should help with that, type of thing. But again, if the customer requires it, then we have to comply. If you carry a doctor's note explaining why you can't, wear a mask or whatever, perhaps, they'll work with you to make accommodations. But at the end of it all, we can't force them to allow you on, on site. So anyway, just if you have any questions, call us, let us know, and we're happy to talk you through it. I'm not, again, this isn't politics for us. It's we do what our customers require us to do, type of thing. And maybe you have a good answer, maybe not. So any questions or comments on that, please let us know. The final thing, that I have to talk about, is there, there's a lot of concerns again about cities and areas, that are, continue to have protests, continue to have riots. I mean, I don't know that we're concerned about protests, necessarily any of us individually, if they're peaceful and, and so forth. But the riots, when it turns violent, that's obviously a concern. Again, I don't know that there's ever really a substitute for common sense. I mean, most of you, um, I've never been in this situations. I've never been in, the situations, where, I can safely, counsel you. I mean, we get questions, and emails and so forth about, hey, I want to carry a weapon. Well, we can't, I mean, and again, it's mostly because of customer requirements. I mean, you go to a DoD base, with a weapon, and there's going to be problems, type of thing, and so our best defense, is practicing common sense, and that's always, the case. We're fortunate that we don't have a lot of customers inside in, urban areas and, downtown areas where the riots and protests tends to be. But there are times, that we have to go to those areas for whatever reason. There are times that, obviously we're going on freeways. Then sometimes, St. Louis areas had a couple of times where, protesters have tried to block freeways, type of thing. So here's the best advice and the counsel that I have, for you. It comes from an article that I found, that's on CCJ Digital, and I'm going to copy paste the link to the article here for you right now, actually. Um, but anyway, just some summarize, some of the advice that the article has. And much of this came from the ATA and the Iowa Motor Transit Association, in particular response to the issues that are going up in Minnesota and Minneapolis. The IMTA issued some advice. And I'll just go through a couple here. The first one they have is keep your doors locked and take your seatbelt off if you think you might be attacked. If your doors don't automatically lock, get in the habit of doing it manually, especially the passenger side door. And I think that's good advice. If you encounter a situation where you could be under attack, remove your seatbelts before being attacked so you can exit the truck more quickly if you have to. This is their advice now, and again, that's all it is. And I don't want anyone to think, well, Mike said, get out of the truck. But according to the IMTA, it's better to take your chances on foot than to be trapped inside. And so again, is that the best advice in all situations? I don't know. I mean, it's I can easily visualize situations where I would not want to get out of the truck, but that's according to the IMTA. The second piece they have is, if you have time, crack your windows and turn off the ventilation system. Windows that are down approximately a half inch are harder to break than a window that is tightly closed. I didn't know that. So that's good advice. Drop your windows about half an inch. Turn off your ventilation system to prevent smoke or tear gas in the air from getting into your cab. That seems a little inconsistent, saying that, lower your windows a bit, but, I guess the logic is that you'll get less smoke or tear gas or whatever from the outside through your windows than you would, through the truck's, ventilation system. Third piece, beware of other forms of roadblocks. IMTA said protesters and riders can make their own makeshift roadblocks with stolen cars parked to block a roadway, causing other drivers to stop. Fourth piece, keep your dash cam on. Information recorded on your dash cam could help law enforcement if anything goes wrong. It can also help you for insurance purposes. The next piece, call ahead to customers. A quick phone call to a customer in an area suspected of having protests can help in knowing what to do and where to go. And that seems reasonable advice. If you're headed to an area that you have concern about, yeah, see if the customer, is aware of anything, or has some advice there. And their final piece, which is, particularly apropos to us, if hauling hazmat, call 911 immediately. Be prepared to identify your location and to tell first responders what you're transporting. This can help law enforcement protect you and everyone in the vicinity of the hazardous materials. Call 911. Certainly call us. Call your dispatch. Hit your panic buttons. All of those things would be appropriate options for you if you find yourself in a situation that unexpected. But again, I have empathy, for the situation that each of you guys are in, randomly. And, the best advice that I can offer is, keep your eyes on the horizon, and if you see, traffic backed up and, as you're going through, that, what is that, the 44-57 interchange there in St. Louis, type of thing. I be extra cautious about that. I mean, you're going to have accidents on, you know, middle of I-44 Arkansas, which is probably just an accident, but be aware certainly of urban areas. So um, let me go. There's a couple of questions here. Tina Bruff, how do you feel about us going through a city where they have defunded police? Okay, so that question comes up, several times. A couple of things. One, no police have been defunded yet. Okay. I mean, there's, you and I read articles all the time, they're talking about budget cuts and, those kind of things. I mean, budgets have been established and set, for a while. The best thing I can tell you, is that, we're not going to knowingly send you to an area that is dangerous. I mean, it's we certainly wouldn't send anybody, to downtown Portland, for a 10 o'clock p.m. delivery, type of thing. I mean, Seattle, had its issues in the chop zone, and all of that, type of thing. If you're driving through, an area, of, protests, whatever, especially in the night, especially in the evenings, Again, I mean, it's I think we have to take it on individual, basis. I mean, there's probably a routing. If I had to drive through, downtown, again, that area through of St. Louis, near, downtown that I talked about at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at nights, on a weekend when I knew there's, protests, I'd probably look for an alternative route, to be honest with you. There, but anyway, I mean, being aware of where you're going and watching the news, is probably prudent, type of thing. But specific cities, where police are defunded, I'm not aware, of any, cities that no longer have a police, presence or police force. But that doesn't mean that I'm eager, to go to downtown Portland at 10 o'clock at night either. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's the best answer I've got for you. Rebecca Anderson, go through those areas during the day. Riots typically happen in the late evenings and late at night, and that is great advice. I mean, if you can plan your routes and your your route planning, do your best, to make sure you're going through, any city urban areas during the daylight hours. That's great advice. Um, Christine Peterson, last few months, a couple of bases have had active shooters on base. What is our protocol if we're on base when this is happening? Do we stay with truck and loaded or what? Um, I don't have a good answer for you, Christine. I mean, it's I presumably, the base is going to instruct you on what to do. I would certainly follow their, instructions. There again, call in, hit your panic button. I mean, it's in those situations, again, I think it's probably going to be pretty individualized on based on where it is. I can see scenarios where they're going to tell you to stay in your truck and don't move. I'm going to see other scenarios where they say get out of your truck and stay in this protected area. I would follow the instructions of whatever base that you're on. Absent of any instruction and absence of any clear direction, I would stay inside the truck with everything loaded, and be aware, and again, hit the panic button or call that in. So Rebecca Anderson, can we carry wasp spray? I don't know. And again, I don't know the answer, to that specifically. And I don't know that I'm in a position to answer, okay, you can carry this, you cannot carry that. I mean, can you carry a pocket knife? Yeah, if you're trying to take a pocket knife, with a 10-inch blade and call it a pocket knife, well, we're gonna have problems there, right? But if it's a pen knife, that has got the toothpick and the little screwdriver or whatever, then you're probably okay with that, and so, Jack McFadden is saying the same thing. We're allowed to carry pepper spray or other type of protective spray. I'm not aware of any reason why you cannot, but that is a question that I'll get more specifics on. There. Yeah, again, I'm not aware of why you can't. Certain states certainly regulates what you can and cannot carry, as far as that goes, type of thing. I mean, you guys have been on different bases. Different bases, one base, says you're okay, with a pepper spray. The next base say no, it's a weapon. You can't bring it on, and so it's not always even the company policy or my policy or whatever. We're at the whim of customers, more times than not. So I don't know that I have a great answer, all the time for whether you can carry wasp spray or pepper spray, that kind of stuff either. I'll try to get a better answer for you there. So, um, Chad, Minnesota and Washington State is working on it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, various states are talking about taking away police budgets. We're well on that, but again, I mean, it's how that's going to affect the safety of those regions and those areas. Right now it's speculation, but we certainly keep an eye on it. There. Joe Younger, you're absolutely right. Joe Younger says all the time, trip plan, trip plan, trip plan, and that's our best defense for sure. Um, Hi, Lucian. Tina talking about Portland. I mean, it's but again, we don't go into Portland, very often. I mean, we're in the suburbs and Clean Harbors, areas, type of thing. But again, we're fortunate that we don't have customers, that are in these high danger areas, typically. So Anyway, it's it's natural, and a lot of these questions come up real specifically. Well, can I carry a 4-inch blade? Can I carry a 7-inch knife? Can I carry listen, I don't know that specific answers, to all of those kind of things. And generally our customers, are going to have different standards and policies, as well anyway. So, but I will try to get some better answers on, the pepper sprays and, the more standard, type of things. Yeah, see if we can get a consensus on that. So, anyway, we appreciate all of you, and this is a weird time, and I mean, your first priority is to protect yourself. I mean, it's I know for me, I mean, it's I leave self defense to myself. I mean, it's type of thing, and certainly I take I have to take what my employer has to say, and their policies, type of thing. But at the end of it all, we're all responsible for our own situations and belief systems, and we're all responsible for our own defense ultimately. So anyway, any other questions or comments or anything like that, please let us know. And we may not have great answers, as we go through a couple of things, but we're not going to avoid the subject matter, so that's the best that I can offer. Anyway, so we appreciate all of you. I mean, it's a weird time. It's getting better, I think. I mean, hopefully, we're all getting coping mechanisms, that we're not fixated on, how crazy the world is, type of thing. Hug your friends and loved ones, and or or at least talk to them if hugging is not appropriate. But let's take care of each other, and we'll get through this. So anyway, appreciate all of you. Remember, next Friday at 1 o'clock is the 1 o'clock Joplin time will be the next Facebook Live. Thank you, everybody. See you.